Stocks are at all-time highs and insiders are selling their shares. You came here for the truth, so let me unveil that for you. We need to understand what's actually happening here. Is this panic selling, or is this all part of the everyday strategy of the executives, the CEOs of these big companies? I'm going to look into the depths of this, and I'm going to give you the details that you need to know. You make the right decisions for yourself. Let me begin without wasting any time. You could see what goes on with insiders selling. I'll give you all the details in the charts. Thiel, Bezos, Zuckerberg join a parade of insiders selling tech stocks. Bosses sell hundreds of millions of dollars in company shares this quarter in a sign that the market may be peaking. So we have had this before. I've done videos about it. You've probably seen the articles as well being written all about this big name or that big name selling off their shares. It's not a small amount, and we have to understand this in context with history. There are times in which insiders like Tim Cook will sell a lot of shares. This is not the first time this has happened, but we are seeing a concentration of that right here now in 2024. It's important to note as well, part of the compensation of these big guys is the fact that they get to certain levels in their stock price and they are able to get that as compensation. So they can sell. This happens at this time during basically this bubble that we've been seeing. And of course, they're reaping the rewards of that. They're going to take their cash out. They're going to take the money and run. You know how it works. They want to be able to capitalize on that. And this is for obvious reasons, okay? I don't blame them. Peter Thiel, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg are leading a parade of corporate insiders who have sold hundreds of millions of dollars of their company's shares this quarter in a signal that the recent stock market exuberance could be peaking as market hit the record highs. The ratio, this is the important part, of corporate insider selling to insider buying is at the highest level since the first quarter of 2021. It's that ratio of buys to sells. Yes, some are still buying. This happens. Some are not selling. But when we look at that ratio, it is flashing a warning signal. Stock sales at the beginning of the calendar year are normal, with pent-up demand in early 2024 being exacerbated by shareholders avoiding sales last year because of the depressed company valuations. Analysts said the season spree has been surprising, and an indicator that the recent tech bull run, fueled by excitement over the rise of generative artificial intelligence, we're not even close to that at all, is about to wane. I don't know. I can't tell you if that is actually the truth, but I know that a lot of this stimulation that we've been seeing has been focused around the idea that AI is going to change everything, and NVIDIA is right at the front and center of that. Is this a bubble? Is this something that we'll look back on this and think, oh, that was barely just the beginning, and the stock valuations go many times higher in the near future? What is your opinion on this? I would really like to know. You might be asking the question, how can I tell on my own on any given day how to find insider buys and sells? Well, I have a video on my channel that breaks that all down. You could see it for yourself. If you go to the channel and you scroll down into the playlists, there's one there with picture of Jeff Bezos, and it says how to find out about the insider buys and sells. Okay, it's right there for you. I did that for you. They are all listed because every insider must disclose when they are buying or selling at any given time. So you're going to be able to find out about that information absolutely whenever you desire. Just understand that what we're seeing right now is basically a warning signal that valuations are potentially too high. Insider selling in tech stocks hits the highest level in 3 years. Not the highest level ever, but it's still significant. So when we get to these peaks, insiders tend to sell more. And of course, when they go down significantly, insiders may decide, okay, now's the time I can start buying this up again. They don't necessarily even have to do anything because depending on their compensation, maybe they are given stocks and they simply don't sell them. In the case of Tim Cook, a while back, he was given $300 million worth of shares and immediately the following day sold every single one. All right. So it depends on what they want to do. Where are they going to put that cash? Many of the biggest sales this quarter have come from tech executives. And you could see that you got Bezos obviously selling $8 billion worth, which is unbelievable. And now we got to see, where are they investing? Because what is better? If you're telling me that AI is the next big thing, if you're telling me that I should be investing in the Apples, in the Amazons, in the Nvidias, and so on, well, then why are these insiders selling those shares? Wouldn't it make sense, if that's going to be the highest appreciating asset, that I would want to own that? Is that what they want to do? Because they want to be also super rich, right? Well, that's their goal, right? You decide. You tell me. Look at this. It just basically says, clearly there's an appetite for liquidity generation right now. Some of that pent up demand following relatively quiet insider selling in 22 and 23. And certainly one impetus is a stock market performance. And that's what they're doing, right? They want to cash out as the stocks have been going higher. And you could see the market cap of the largest stocks relative to the 75th percentile. Just all this is showing us is that a few names are still the ones carrying it all. I saw another chart that showed all of the buys. Like when you look at the actual data itself, all of the buying that's been taking place over the last few months has been in tech stocks. It's overwhelming over the last few months where tech stocks have been carrying this all. And you might say, yes, tech is the new thing. Tech is growing. Tech is going to be more useful in the future, not less useful. But there has to be a balance. That's not a good sign. What is going on here? Well, there are individuals like Leather Jacket Man. And this is funny for anybody who's been following me recently. You know about Leather Jacket Man. And he now debuted a new $9,000 lizard embossed leather jacket. And he also says something about AI GPUs. So this is funny. By the way, if you want to get it for 40% off, link in the description. It's crazy. It's $9,000 leather jacket that he's wearing. And this is part of the whole style. This is what they do. They create a persona. They come up on stage and they sell you on something. They might sell you on this and it might be a good thing. You might see Nvidia stock double from here. I'm not saying it's not, but you got to understand this in the grand scheme of things. Leather Jacket Man, $9,000 jacket. All right. Zuckerberg's doing very well. Meta stock went up like crazy. Zuckerberg buys a yacht. Okay. Not that he needed the stock to go up like crazy to buy that yacht, but here we go. So this is apparently was purchased in or built in 2022, and it's not confirmed to be his, but they believe that it is. This was crazy. So it can support 24 guests, okay? But it requires a crew of 48. And not only that, but $30 million a year to keep this running. Okay, these beasts, anybody with a mega yacht has a lot of money. Private jet, not as much. In fact, it's the mega yacht that requires much, much more capital. So just keep that in mind. I think it said it was the 45th, approximately 45th or 48th biggest yacht in the world. Congratulations to Mark Zuckerberg. See, they're doing something with their shares. One guy's buying $9,000 leather jackets. Another guy's buying a yacht. Here you can see what buybacks, stock buybacks, have been doing to the S&P 500. You see, according to the data itself, 27% of S&P 500 returns since 2011 are driven by buybacks. 27%. So a massive chunk of the performance of the S&P 500, the stock market, has been purely because of the stock buybacks. And I would argue even more. It's really more than that because there's, of course, the knock-on effects of this. So you got to understand, when a company buys back their own shares, they drive the price higher. When the price goes higher, the insiders say, I'm going to cash out, I'm going to buy a $9,000 jacket, and I'm going to party like it's 1999. They are the ones taking the most advantage. Doesn't mean that you can't also take advantage. I'm not saying that, but they're taking the most advantage of the circumstance. They already cash out. They already did that. Okay? Some of their stocks, anyway. Looking at this, what is extremely important to note is the S&P 500, or you can look at the Wilshire, you can look at all the different ones, but we're basically looking at the total market cap, that's the green line, and comparing that with the US reserve balances with Federal Reserve banks. Okay, this is the excess reserve. So think about this: your commercial bank. All right, you deposit your money in the commercial bank. The commercial bank has to keep a reserve. They keep that at the Fed. That that cash they're keeping at the Fed there, it happens to be very accurate. The correlation between that and the stock market. However, it is completely and entirely dislocated from that today. And that usually means when we least expect it, that starts to change. Now, reserves can go up dramatically, or the stock prices can go down, or one can go kind of sideways for a while the other one fits in, but they got to meet up at some point. We're going to see what happens. This is very precarious, to say the least. If you are interested in all of this in depth, 2 hours every Friday, I cover this. The people that are in that group are at the forefront of this information. I spend 2 hours, in fact, over 2 hours every Friday. And if you're like, I can't do Friday or whatever, you get the recordings. They go in the secure drive. You get access to that. You've got to be aware of what's going on right now because you're going to be able to take advantage. The people in these groups are and have been taking advantage of the information that I give, and I hope that you will join up. Hit that thumbs up button on the way out. If you want to know any more information, link in the description right down there near the like button. And of course, as always, don't forget to come back tomorrow. Take care.